This is The Negro Speaks of Rivers, one of my earliest poems written in 1920, just after I came out of high school. I've known rivers ancient as the world and older than the flow of human blood in human veins. I've known rivers, ancient, dusky rivers. My soul has grown deep like the rivers.
And after we had, picked cotton all day long, late over in the evening, it would look like lonesome in the field. And then you would hear my mother start singing, "Oh Lord, you know just how I feel. Oh 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 Lord, they say you don't surprise. Oh Lord, they said you don't surprise. Oh Lord, they say you would answer prayer.
400 years of enslavement. You have sharecropping, tenant farming, and, disrupted our connection to the land. There's a lot of healing that needs to be done. Afroecology is our way of doing that. It's a way of understanding, putting words to that, putting movement to that, putting feeling to that, putting song to that, putting writing to that, put creativity to that, putting thoughts to that. That's what Afroecology is.
Xavier Brown, I'm a lifelong Washingtonian. The Black Dirt started like 15 years ago. It's like second term Obama. Agriculture in general was kind of community gardens, all this growing type stuff was really popping off. And at that time, there was like a renaissance of Black agrarianism. And I was just I didn't know about it at the time. I was just doing what I felt called to do. I just started to meet, like a whole bunch of amazing people. We landed on like we needed to start an organization. And then we ended up landing on the name Black Dirt Farm Collective. The Mid-Atlantic region where we are, it's a lot of Southern heritage and still a lot of Southern roots that are connected to the fabric of DC. We are like the connectors between the North, Baltimore, Philly, New York, but also to the Deep South where the Black agrarianism is started. Also, we're in the nation's capital. Just from a political standpoint, just to hold space from there. So it was just a gap. A lot of the Black farmers in our region, they were older. So it was like people that was like 50 then, 60 back then, which was cool to learn from. But then it was like a void of like younger people. So we wanted to kind of hopefully step in and fill the space. If you just go back in time in the United States, you can read about many a massacre of like Black communities. Black, farming communities have been slaughtered and their land has been stolen. So yes, they existed and they've persisted kind of within the space of like just American white terrorism and stuff like that. But now if we're talking about the modern time, I think there's like more groups of people like self-organizing and determining like what they want to do around land and food sovereignty and land sovereignty. And I'm not saying times have changed, like, but now that we have history to rely on, then I think we can really glean and learn from history and really kind of fortify our formations. What Trump represents is like the fabric. It is like America, you know what I'm saying? Because we've never like really dealt with like America, you know what I'm saying? With like what makes up America. So it's like always just gonna come back. I think for us internally, it's like we got to be able to adjust and move and pivot and maneuver as far as our visibility. Because sometimes being too visible could be a hindrance. You know what I'm saying? We might become easy targets. But we want to be able to be visible in our message to be able to connect with folks like you and people that's in your generation. A lot of, movements have been able to persist because we've been able to adapt. Like when early in agriculture, talking to the older black farmers who was like 60, they in their 70s. They've gone through multiple iterations of like right-wing presidents or even Democratic presidents who are like right-leaning, you know what I'm saying? So, and they tell you just like, you gotta figure out how to make it work. You know what I'm saying? You gotta figure out how to survive and stay afloat. Yeah, like everything you touch and you interact with changes you and vice versa. So I think for me, like working with like particularly like a lot of kids, I'm like 20 years older than, so I'm old enough to be like parents. I guess they look at me as old, but I don't. My body feels good, like young, like I'm still be playing basketball, like cooking people and all that. So I don't feel old. I've tried to always step in the space of like learning, of being like a student myself. Just like I try to learn from nature. Like let's say a sweet gum tree. Like sweet gums are kind of like depending on, I don't want to say they're invasive, but they spread like pretty fast. But they make space for the young, the next generation. So I try to make the space of like, all right, how could I like think about it the same way that nature does, you know what I'm saying? Not smother out the next generation. How am I able to like pass on the wisdom that I've gotten from older people? Because I'm in this space where it's a lot of older people I learn from. It's a lot of older people that's transitioning. They passing, it's like dying. They dying, and you might not have had the opportunity to sit down and lock in with them and gain that information. So that shit's just lost. And I want to be able to pass on that information, also learn from them, and also create the space so they can kind of grow and they feel comfortable sharing their ideas. They feel comfortable making mistakes. And so I'm just that's the same approach that I use to like growing. But just like being able to learn and being open to learning, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm open to learning from like the land and the elders. I want to be open to learning from the young people, the kids, the students, So I don't want to be caught up in like my adultness or whatever it is that I'm not able to like learn and pass on information and create a reciprocal relationship.
There is no hierarchy of oppressions, by Audre Lorde. I was born Black and a woman. I am trying to become the strongest person I can become, to live the life I have been given, and to help effect change toward a livable future for this earth and for my children.